Welcome everybody to the Dueling Sourcers show. My name is Stacy Broadwell. I will be your host for today. And on Dueling Sourcers, we show that there's more than one way to source talent. So welcome to the show. And today's sourcers are Dean Costa and Steve Levy. Welcome to the show.
Hola.
Hola. Good morning.
For those of you who are joining in, people will be coming in as we get the show started. Down at the bottom in the chat there, at the bottom of your screen, you can just go ahead and post where you're from, maybe what roles that you are sourcing on, if it's nurses, if it's scientists, if it's chefs, truckers, whatever it might be. And if you want Dean and Steve to source for a position for you live, you can post it down there, maybe with the title, the location, maybe a few specifics, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So gentlemen, what are we sourcing for today?
Let's talk about what PJ's has put in.
Okay.
A localization engineer, mapping and localization. Okay, so let me see what else you put down there. It's a fun one, yes. We don't need to do any more here.
So they want a localization engineer, and they want them to have C, C++, strong algorithm, and all stuff like that. So basically, in this particular case, all right. So first of all, one of the things I would do for a job like that is I would probably find out all the companies that are multilingual, meaning they have products that are in different languages. That's usually where localization is used. And then start targeting people working at those companies. Then, of course, just use the term localization. You're still looking for an engineer, so you're still looking for a C++ place. So almost all of the different things like GitHub and Stack Overflow and all that would work, and there are boatloads of them. If you go on the SSAR page, there are literally 50 different code repositories out there where you can find people like this. And if I'm not mistaken, there's actually a localization specific one that you can go ahead and look at. Let me double check that. I believe localization.
Yeah. And I'm looking at something also. You know, the thing that jumps out at me, PJ, is that when it comes to autonomous driving, this is a place that is in which the patent protection is legendary. You can find folks who have that specific stuff, but you're talking both the autonomous driving and robotics control area. They're all over the place. So while Dean is looking at,
or should we be focusing on that? Because I mean, the thing experience with robot operating systems, okay, is a plus.
That means that's what they really want.
Well, okay, maybe for them, I don't know. Lockheed Martin, a plus, they'll ignore that usually. I mean, we will anyway. They're like, we don't care. Okay, so here's one called Git Localize, GitLocalize, and it's basically a code repository for localization engineers.
So pop it into the chat, Dean.
I'm gonna. Okay. Just give me a minute here. And what I would do is I would go ahead and, well, maybe I won't because it didn't, for some reason, didn't grab it. I had to restart my computer today because they changed out my electric meter. Supposedly it's going to save me money. Why do I get the feeling it's going to cost me money? Let's see. If I x-ray in, what can we find? I haven't been in here in a while. Fundamentals, Brent box thing. Let's see if there's all sorts of code going. Okay, here we go. So if you go ahead in there, you can look on specific projects, and what you'll do is you'll get a whole big list of projects and people talking, and the moderator and the moderators. Like this person is Florian Kumi is his username. His last name is Pulsovich. And if you cross-reference him on LinkedIn, you're going to find his GitHub repository. Once you get to his GitHub repository, you'll automatically get an email pretty easily. Matter of fact, his email is sitting right there in front of me. He also has his own Bent to Box World website. So I would start with a place like a Git Localize and start looking for sites specific to localization, because that's going to be the harder part of it. Finding a C++ guy is a piece of cake. Let's get real. There's boatloads of them. Finding the localization side, that's where things become a little more interesting. The other thing is there are a lot of tools specifically for localizations. Start looking at companies, finding those tools and seeing who's using those tools from a company perspective. Start targeting those people.
Yeah, let me show you. That's nothing. I'm showing you another one. Another one here. Just this sort of goes back to the, quasi basic use of GitHub here.
Yep.
And so I just did this one here, Peach. And in terms of the search, the results here, let me go share the screen here to show this stuff here. I have, take any of these here and let's start when it comes to localization. Anything. Which jumps out here? Let's go look at. Okay, for GIS stuff, this seems like it would resonate well for autonomous driving. Things were associated with GIS. I want to see what this is. And I also noticed, by the way, there's a forum on this one here. No, this wouldn't be it. But I just saw something else. Where was that? Mojito? More. This is tough today. What I found out when I did this the first time, Mojito, a continuous localization platform. And there are a lot of things we can do here. You can look at the whole GitHub repo. Let's go see about the authors and all the different people. These folks are pushing commits out. I would start looking at those. I'm just going to scroll down here because I'm doing it real time.
While you do that, hey PG, I just stuck a string into there for looking for resumes with localization C++, yep. and there were 96,000.
Yeah, and so here we're just looking at when it comes to this stuff here. Look, there was an email discussion group for this particular platform. Don't know what it looks like, but I'm going to click on it right now. Oh, you can actually. This actually is a. There's a Google group, so you could probably send an email to this group and
yep.
just start fishing that way. And the other thing is you have all these people, you can start looking at them. That's one thing. Let me do one more thing I saw.
I'd be willing to bet you while you do that, I'm going to look at something else too. I'd be willing to bet money. That's wrong one. Here we go.
Just looking, let me just add, I'm actually going to add a word in. The word autonomous is a really good word. It tends to, oh, look at this. Towards learning, learning-based LiDAR looks for autonomous vehicles. I'm sure. Oh, never better. Screw that one. Go back. This is a pretty cool thing. See all these PDFs? These are people who, let's do this one. Let's just add PDF to it.
Oh, this is too good.
And we have, articles, PJ, on this area.
That link I
That's
just
right,
stuck. Oh, that was you personally? No, I sent it to everybody. Oh, that was private. Good Lord, how do I get out of the private into the public? Here.
So this view page is this.
Okay, there. Did you? Okay, here we go. Let's.
Yeah, you're back now.
All right. So just so you guys know, no, it says privately to you. I'm not trying to send it privately to you. Why is it doing that? All panelists. There we go. Let's try that again now. So that link is to a C++ Now 2019 conference that has a list of a whole bunch of people. But when I X-rayed into it, 65% of them had localization.
There you go.
And another 45% had robotics of some kind. I mean, you're looking at Collins Aerospace right there. I can almost guarantee you that's robotics. Only because I know the company really, really well. But this entire, and look what you're getting. You're getting their name, where they work. I mean, that alone is enough to figure out who they are and get more info. And when you open up and go into each one, you get to know what they participated in, what they did. There's a nice picture of all sorts of neat stuff. So, and all I did was X-ray into schedule.com and look for localization in C++. If I take away C++, there are even more. There's 89 results. You figure each one is an attendees list, probably has 70 plus people in it. So yeah, there's loads of things you can do there.
I'll give you one more, PJ, because this actually turns up lots of really good searches. Again, going back into GitHub and just forcing on the critical pieces, which are localization, autonomous driving. A lot of personal sites in this, a lot of papers, lots of home pages. And again, you could easily put in, the word homepage, website, whatever the case may be. I'm looking at one of them now, just for the heck of it. And this is someone here who is just looking at one of the links. I got this, and this fellow is a PhD student in machine learning group at the University of Toronto, focusing on computer vision and deep learning for autonomous robotics. Spot on. So things like this are, I think the challenge when it comes to sourcing is to not get so granular that you can't see the forest through the trees.
I also just did an X-ray into Zoom Info, and why does it keep going to private? I don't know why. And found about 129 people who are localization engineers. They have robotics supposedly, and you can figure it out from there how to get through. This person's worked for Mercedes-Benz Research and Development, Senior Fusion Localization Engineer. If you go down and read what he's doing robotics. He's a C++ person. I think you can figure the rest out for yourself.
Yeah, and on PJ, on the link that I just popped into the chat, if you go look at that Siege Dog, he has several publications, and each of those publications has links to other human beings.
Yeah, and if you can go ahead and start, remember we spoke earlier about figuring out companies to target. If you can go ahead and do that, figure out a company to target, you can go ahead and use a tool like Chartloop, and Chartloop will go ahead and map the entire org for you, and then you'll know who's who. And there'll be a division that's about robotics and localization, and you can just target those people. And it's chartloop.com. It's a really cool tool. It's fairly new, but does a really good job.